Hey everyone, my name is Max Schneider, the bald bearded bicyclist. I wanted to give a try, a commentary on this race video. This will be my first one with actual commentary on it. A little bit of background. I'm Cat 4. I don't know all the techniques and the actual racing tactics yet. I'm still learning, so this is really, keep that in mind when you're watching this. That it's very much from a Cat 4 perspective, and I'm learning, probably along with a lot of you if you're watching my videos. But a little bit of background of this race. This is the Buffalo Bicycling Club first Club Series race of the year, and really these races are training races. There's no awards, they're not sanctioned. But they are a lot of fun. They get a lot of local teams come out for these, and this is the first one of the season. It is around Grand Island, and I started the video after we were about halfway through the Grand Island loop. So it does a loop around the island, and in the top right corner you can see looks kind of like a crescent moon, but that it makes almost a complete circle lap around the island, and then it finishes off. You can see at the bottom of that little icon there's a little circuit. So it's a really fun race. It's completely flat, and you go around the island, and then 5 circuit laps that are very crit style. So it's a fun way to finish it out, and it's really the only Sunday series that has a kind of crit component. The rest are circuit road races, I would say. So again, this kind of started off halfway, and at this point I'm very much just kind of surfing the wheels in the back, trying to find my bearings and figure out a way to eventually move up. This whole section, I was finding that I was hitting a lot of bumps on the right side of the road here, and for whatever reason my chain was bouncing all around, and I was consistently changing gears without meaning to. You'll probably be able to hear it a little bit, but there's a lot of clunking around in my gears, which I'm not doing on purpose. Luckily later in the race that calms down when we find some solid ground, and I don't know, it might have just finally flicked into the right position, but I got my back camera on here finally, and it's the first race you'll notice that I have both the front and the back. So we're seeing some people are starting to throw some attacks. There were some early attacks too, and mostly everything got brought back pretty quickly. With it being so flat, it's nothing technical. It's hard for anybody to get away in this early section of the race, but it was a lot of fun. Get up to some high speeds and play around a little bit, work on bringing people back. That is a notoriously bumpy section on that little bridge there, and first group ride I was ever on. I jettisoned a bottle, swerved, almost took out some people, and I felt horrible about it. But nobody went down, and learned a little bit how to control my bike when you hit a bump. So it's all a learning experience, and the more group rides you get on, the quicker you'll learn, and the sooner you'll feel comfortable jumping into a race. So get out and ride. Buffalo Bicycling Club has been fantastic with really setting people up for success as far as getting into racing and just feeling comfortable riding in a group and really pushing yourself. One of the few, if not only, club I know of that has a mentorship program, which I was involved in last year, that mentors get paired up with mentees and really help them learn the basics of training. I hit a big old pothole right there, and give them techniques and a bit of the basics of tactics. This year we're really going to be pushing a lot of soft skills, bumping drills. Where there's going to be a crit clinic around the shipyards, if you know where that is. If you're watching these videos and you're not involved with the Buffalo Bicycling Club and this is interesting to you at all, definitely reach out. We'll set you up, and there's nothing to be scared about. I was very nervous last year getting into racing, and the way that these guys really set you up is fantastic. And you go at your own pace in the C races, and you'll start feeling really comfortable very quickly. Anyways, you can see we're just kind of noodling along right here. There's a little bit of a I wouldn't say hill, but it's probably one of the few places on the island that has any sort of elevation. And I was really looking for a place to get ahead here, move up, so I kind of fell back so that I could go around, and I noticed the left side was open. So pretty decent effort here, just to get up a little bit. Just some physiological background on me. I currently have an FTP of about 275, and I weigh about 175 pounds, so somewhere around that 3.5 watts per kilo. FTP is not everything, guys, especially if you're going to be racing crits and any race where you're going to be spiking it up, going into VO2. That higher end will really help you stay on, and you'll see later that it definitely comes into play in a race like this, where there's constant surges and coming out of turns, which is something I really have to work on. You'll spike that power up repeatedly. So up here, pretty soon we all slow down. There's a section that nobody attacks on. We talk about before the race. It's the only turn where we don't technically have the right of way, so there's no attacking, and everyone takes it relatively slow until you get through the turn and everybody blasts it. So you kind of have to be ready for a big effort coming out of the turn, which luckily I was, because I did a couple of these rides last year on Grand Island. So you see that little chicane, and then immediately people hit it. I spike up to 700 watts, and you can see I can latch back on, but then there's already attacks going, so I just got to kind of push through. My max heart rate is about 182, so keep that in mind. You'll see I'm about to make a pretty big effort in a little bit here. So I originally kind of signed up for this race with the B category, and we left with the A's. The majority of the people around me are the A's, and I just figured, you know what, why not? I'm racing with the A's. I'm going to race like an A. And so I didn't really think about, I'm in front of all the B's. I wasn't really racing for position in B. I just wanted to kind of animate the race a little bit. So attack comes on the right. Everybody's yelling. I'm on Jim's wheel here, and I know he's going to go for it because he's really the only project team member in position for it. So big effort to get on his wheel. I'm trying to close this gap quickly so that he can bring me up. And really, this is a bridging attempt to get together. You can see there was another little break up above, or up in front. And you see a couple of guys are actually falling back from that small break. And I'm thinking, I'm pretty wiped. You see my heart rate is 177. But at this moment, I'm thinking, man, somebody should really counterattack when we get them. And I guess I could do it. So I say, why not? If I'm going to pretend I'm an A, I might as well go for it. So I hit hard just to see what would happen. I really know that I can't hold a breakaway. I'm not a breakaway specialist. I don't have the FTP to really steady state effort, keep away from everybody, but why not? Hit it. I see there's a bunch of guys behind me. I looked back and it looked like it was connected. So then I looked back again and I'm like, oh shoot, we got a gap. So then I had to hit a major effort just to get back on this group. Sorry, Dennis, I skipped a pull there. But I also quickly realized, like, oh my God, these are 3 really strong guys. I don't know what the hell I'm doing right now. This is the first time I've ever been in a break. But I try to fall into rotation, but I make a mistake here. I surged up to 500 watts. Rob yells at me to pull off. I didn't realize how much I was surging because honestly, I was just thinking, man, I don't want to be the weak guy in this. But I fall off, obviously. I had 1 pull in me. But after thinking about it, I was thinking, I really could have stayed in there longer if I didn't surge so much. So, you live, you learn this first break. Steve gives me a little pat on the back there. That was fun, though. I mean, last year, if you've watched any of my other videos, I never really made any moves. It was my first year of racing, and I just didn't have the confidence to do it. So that was a lot of fun to actually play any sort of role in there. And I know that attack really did hurt people because we had already just bridged up, and so surging again after it definitely caused some high heart rates. So I fall all the way back just to give myself a little bit of time to recover. And I chill here for a bit. So this is going to be a little boring for a little bit. I'm just basically hanging on and trying to let my heart rate come down a little bit. I probably could have done a better job of staying on some of the wheels in front of me to make sure I really was recovering rather than surging back and forth here. But that's kind of the thing with the back of the pack, though, too. You're going to get that accordion effect pretty bad. So right here, I'm trying to recover, and I got to do a 500 watt surge. That's not exactly going to help me. I was actually pretty pleasantly surprised with how many efforts I did in this race. It's early in the season. It was May 1st yesterday, actually. I've been doing Trainer Road, and I'm in a build phase right now, so no specialty or anything. I haven't been working on sprints, but this race was definitely a good practice in that. I'm thankful that it's slowing down a little bit here. But in a race like this, you never seems to slow down for too long, so of course it's starting to pick back up again. So the major teams are the Buffalo Bicycling Club race team, which is, you can see Devin just to the right here in the blue, red, and white sleeves. That's the team that I'm racing for. There is the Scicluna Lloyd's team, which you can see Moose has the bright green booties there, but they have a navy kit as well. And then Project out of East Aurora are the red jerseys. And those are pretty much the major teams that are in this race. So again, this is really a mix of a lot of different types of racers. Is really the A race, but you've got some Bs in there. Bs are primarily made up of Cat 4s and 5s, and then the A race is really like a P1, 2, 3, I guess. Basically anyone else that has been racing for a while. There is a C category. I raced in that last year for the majority of the year, and you can watch some of those videos, but those are really instructional races. So what's awesome about them is they have mentors that'll race with the newer riders, and they'll even stop in the middle so that people don't get too spread out. Like, you don't just have people breaking away and then nobody learns anything. They'll kind of run through scenario attacks and chases, and take little breaks and go through, talk about the strategy and why a break worked, why you might want to attack in certain positions, and it's super helpful and relieves a lot of the stress of thinking like, oh, I'm just going to get dropped on my first race, and it getting dropped and then riding by yourself, doing that until your fitness is better will take you a lot longer to learn the tactics and be able to actually learn how to draft and stick with people than being yelled to by a mentor. You're not ever yelled at, they're very nice, by a mentor saying like, hey, you got to close that gap in front of you. You're not really getting the draft benefit. So you learn way quicker, and it's super helpful. So right now I'm getting a great draft. I mean, we're going 23 miles per hour, and my heart rate's nice and low for me, 140, under 140. And I'm barely pushing 100 watts right now, so this is a good position to be in after that effort I'm finally recovering from. So the total race is about 25 miles with the circuit. I don't know if the total will get all the way to that in the top right corner because I didn't include the entire race. So we'll see. But it's not too long of a race. I mean, it was about an hour 10 for me, I think. These are not closed roads because they're the club races and not sanctioned. We got to deal with some of that stuff, cars being parked and traffic coming the other way and behind us as well. But everybody tries to stay safe. There are yellow line rules. You're not supposed to go over the double yellow, even to set up a turn. And you'll see some people have a little bit of trouble following those rules sometimes, but all in all, everyone's trying to keep everybody safe. So these club races are usually crash free. There was a small crash in this one. I didn't see it. Unfortunately, fortunately I wasn't around for it, but I think everybody's okay. But I didn't catch it on the camera because I had basically been dropped at that point. Just catching up with Devin. You can hear the talk right here, telling him why I did that counterattack. Appreciate Greg is really good at signaling. I like riding behind him. He's always good at pointing out potholes and obstacles on the course. There's a surge here. 600 watts. I gotta anticipate these a little bit more. I really should be looking a little further up. Sometimes I catch them, and obviously, when I'm talking to somebody, I don't know if I was really watching as far up as I should have been. I shouldn't have had to surge to 600 watts there while in the pack. But like I said, I'm still learning a lot of things that I can be working on. And trying to stay steady is definitely one of them. Trying to stay off the brakes is another. I'll surge like this and I'll hit 600 watts and then I'm flying up into somebody's wheel, and like here, I think I did it correctly where you kind of pull off into the wind and let the wind, act as a brake rather than just tapping on the brakes and losing the actual effort that you already put into the pedals. But smooth and steady. Tack up the left side. With the yellow line rule, it is definitely difficult to move up sometimes, but everybody's in the same position, so often it's just if you're gonna have trouble moving up, then get to the front and do more work. I know a lot of the stronger guys just get their workout in because they'll just stay up there and pull the whole field the whole race, but obviously if they can do it, if they've got the fitness, then they're in way better position for the end of the race. So it gets increasingly more difficult to move up as the pace really stays a bit more consistent near the end of the race. Gets strung out. See more attacks coming on the right side here. Some project guys going up. It's just getting strung out a little bit, but everyone's pretty much staying together. So we're approaching that circuit, and really the first time through it doesn't really count as your 5 laps. So we do the once around the island, enter the circuit, go through the finish line, and then it's 5 laps of the circuit. People are all starting to position themselves. There is a little break up the road, but people are trying to get in position for the first turn, which is going to be a left. You can see people signaling. Again, it's you're not going to usually signal in a real race, but this is not a sanctioned race, and we really want to make sure everybody knows where they're going for everybody's safety. So yeah, my turns are not ideal, and I think it's a little bit of finding the perfect race line, but also learning exactly how long I can pedal, when I can pedal through. I tend to be a little cautious and not pedal during the turn, and I'm sure that I'm losing some efficiency there. I'm sure there's probably turns where I can pedal through the whole way, but even if I can't do that, I'm sure I can get some pedal strokes in before and after the apex that I'm losing out on. So you'll see pretty much every time I take a turn, a cap opens and I have to sprint to catch back up. Whereas a lot of the guys around me, I can see that they are accelerating right before the turn and then carrying so much speed through that it's just, there's no way that they're wasting as many watts and as many sprints throughout these turns. But practice makes perfect. I haven't really done many crits. There's not a lot of technical races around here, except for this year. There's going to be a lot of crits. So if you're interested in that, definitely look at the Buffalo Bicycling Club race calendar, because they're, for the 50th anniversary, they're putting on some awesome events, a ton of omniums, multi-day events with road races and multiple crits. But as far as my experience, I haven't had to learn too much of the technical parts of these races. I think there's just a comfortability to about getting used to really taking a turn with people around you. I'm comfortable being in the pack at this point, and I don't necessarily get freaked out if somebody bumps me, but in a turn, I think that would freak me out a little bit still. So I'm getting used to. So I had to go over the yellow a little bit there because somebody swung out, and I didn't want to cause a crash, so I had to go over for a second, but I tried to get back over as soon as possible. I'm not purposely trying to advance over the yellow. Just trying to get back on a wheel here. Greg goes in a little bit, then he swings back out, so I got to cross over the yellow again. But again, I'm not really actively trying to advance. I see there's a gap, and so I jump it. Try to close it real quick. That wasn't too bad of an effort, but it takes me a bit to really get on a wheel. For whatever reason, I kept kind of dancing around and going to the left or the right, and not really utilizing the draft that I just worked to get up to. And then I think I finally kind of find it, but there's a lot of that throughout this race that, just efficiency that I just kind of threw away. Probably could have held on a little bit longer at the end if I was being more efficient. Again, the gap's already starting to open, so, and I, 0 watts through that. I definitely started pedaling a lot later than everybody else, and I stopped pedaling a lot sooner than everybody else, so I really got to find that sweet spot. And then I tend to sprint maybe too hard to catch back up, because then I had to hit my brakes. So again, just wasting energy. But the group behind was able to catch back on there. But at least when I jumped across, I didn't drag them. So obviously I know that, it's forcing them to work hard too. I wasn't just sitting on the front and bringing everybody with me. There's some yellow line issues, but especially there's a car coming. Hopefully it's just some early race stuff that will get sorted out, and there will not be as much of that in the future. Even just setting up for these turns, this is technically illegal. I cross over a little bit, but you're really supposed to stay inside that double yellow. So of course, you got a lot of people who are able to carry a lot more speed. They're coming a lot further outside. But I could have optimized my turning even legally. not wasted as much energy there. Again, I'm hitting 700 watts every time I'm coming out of these turns. I think a lot of it is that I'm so far back. If I were maybe to have worked a little bit harder to get more to the front of this pack, I would have ended up saving myself a lot of energy in those turns, because obviously the further back you get, if there's little gaps opening between other people on these turns, I'm then getting double when others are sprinting to close those gaps. This gap opened, so now I'm trying to close that, and by the time I close it, I don't want to move up. I know that I should, but I'm just thinking, oh, well, I really should just take the rest. But again, I would have been better off not taking the rest, trying to get to the front, and then I just wouldn't have to use as much effort in the turn, so I wouldn't need as much rest. But it also is pretty tough to move up when the pack fans out, when they do slow down like that, so easier said than done, I guess. Thanks to Mike Maywalt, who is a teammate of mine in the Cat 4 BBC team, for doing the lap counters. It's fun having him there, cheering everybody on. So again, you can watch that I did start pedaling through that one once I was halfway through it, but I think I'd already created a gap from maybe stopping pedaling too soon before diving into the turn. So yeah, just got to keep working on it. I did a better job of not going too much power to catch back on and not having to slam on the brakes. But I think I hit 700 watts again coming out of that turn, so pretty much every time I go through these little sprints are starting to add up in my legs, and my heart rate's not that high at this point. Like you saw before, I can get up to 180 and still be doing work, but at this point my legs are just starting to get pretty fried. All these little efforts are adding up. And again, over 800, almost 900 watts. I mean, I really probably should have counted how many times I went over 800 watts this race. Maybe not ideal for racing, but some good interval work. There's another gap opening. I don't have to try too hard to close it because people are already starting to slow down a little bit for the upcoming turn. And I think that's really something that I've seen and I should work on. If I leave more of a gap coming into the turn and then accelerate up to people, I'll be able to carry much more speed through it. Whereas I'm slowing down when everyone else is slowing down to go into the turn, and then when they accelerate out, I'm starting from such a slower speed. So, again, that has to do with my position all the way on the back of the pack here. But if I were to leave more of a gap and then accelerate before the turn, I'd be able to close that gap a lot easier, I think. And I believe that is called tail gunning, but again, not an expert. Also, anybody who's watching this, I mean, if you've got some experience, feel free to comment. Tell me how I can improve. I'm very open to constructive criticism, and I know that I have a lot to learn. So all comments welcome. So I think at this point I'm starting to hurt pretty bad. I don't remember if I've got one and a half laps left, but I think I'm starting to feel pretty bad. And I think I glance back, I see Carissa behind me a couple of times, and honestly, I wanted to tell her to go in front of me because I didn't know how much longer I was going to be able to hold on. But I just didn't even have the energy to do that. So I just figured, I'll just hold on as long as I can, and hopefully she can get around me when I finally give out. Because again, we're different teams, but at the heart of it, it's a training race, and technically I'm racing in the B category for this race, which I think at this point I may be first in the Bs. I think all the other Bs might have gotten dropped, but I'm not positive because so there's me saying I'm sorry. I just realized I'm just done. I can't do it anymore. I can't do the surges. But afterwards I felt so bad, and I was thinking I really should have just given one last pull, try to bring her up to Moose and dropped her off. But I take it easy for a little bit, let the heart rate come down. I guess I'm not taking it that easy. I'm jumping back up to 300 watts. I just needed something a little bit more steady than the constant 700 watt surges. So I take the opportunity to just kind of practice the turns, finish out the laps, and overall it was a super fun race, and I love just getting out anytime. The more you do it, the more you're gonna learn, and it's a lot of fun. Probably let the rest of this play out if you're interested, but it's a lot of just road. I do catch up to Carissa. We chat for a little bit, and then just ride in together. So no fun sprint finish or anything. But hopefully next time I can hold on to the end. I think I'm probably going to start racing with the A's in these club series. I just figure it's the best way for me to get faster, is ride with the faster guys and really push myself. Plus, I'll definitely learn the tactics. I mean, in the 4-5 races, it just seems like it's often a fitness contest. You got the guys who are really strong, they're going to go off the front, and it's just no one will work together to catch them, unless you've got a really big team. So doing these A races is a great way to see how team tactics work, and how the group will work together to bring back breaks and how breaks can get formed. Just try some stuff. Get out there and do the stupid counterattack when your heart rate's already at 177 beats per minute. You got nothing to lose. It's not a sanctioned race. This is where the practice should happen. And it's a good workout. So thanks so much. Please subscribe and like the videos if you can. It'll show me what you guys like. If you would rather I just post these videos without any commentary, I can do that as well. Let me know if you like the commentary. I would be okay with posting 2 different videos too if you want that. One with commentary, one without. I know some people like to watch just the race videos when you're on your trainer with no commentary. It just kind of gets you in the zone. You have your workout on the background. I can also do edits where they're much shorter videos. We can do 10-minute just highlight videos too. So leave a comment, let me know what you like, and please subscribe. Appreciate it. See you on the next one.